Alright, this video is going to show you how we can actually access our, access times. In this scenario that we've got set up for you, we're trying to find when the sensor can actually contact the ground station. And that's going to be an important distinction on this. There are a couple of ways to get the actual access time, but I'm going to show you kind of the most straightforward. And that's going to involve going over here to our object browser. Now, a common mistake is to right-click on the satellite and go down to Access. I'm going to point that out here at the beginning. In some scenarios, you may be looking at the contact time between the satellite itself and the ground station, but that's not what we want in this scenario, and many scenarios. We've got a sensor, and it's the sensor that we want to be able to see, our ground station. So select the sensor, because that's the one that we care whether or not it can see our ground station. Right-click on it, and go down to Access. Now that's going to bring up a window. In this scenario, we only have one ground station, which is marked as Edmond. In other ones, you might have additional ground stations. Maybe we're scanning multiple locations. So we can go here and we can click on Edmond, and it says access for, it lists the satellite and then the sensor, because the sensor is part of the satellite, so it has to list both of them. If you only see the satellite, you've probably selected only the satellite, and it's not going to give you the numbers for which you are looking. But this one says the sensor, which is good, and the satellite is there because the sensor is on the satellite. And we've got our ground station here. Click Compute, and then down here where it says Reports Access, you can click that, and this is exactly what we're looking for. Now, the last thing that you want on this is, basically, this is a log of every time during our mission duration that the sensor begins to access our ground site. Here's the start time and the stop time, and then it gives you the total duration of that. Now what we're looking for is the total of the total, which you'll have to scroll down to the very bottom right. It's got the minimum duration, max, the average, and finally the total duration. This is the number we're looking for. In this particular scenario, with these orbital settings, we've got it set up for 152 minutes almost, so that would be about 15 points in this particular scenario. So once again, the biggest thing that you're looking for is we want to select the sensor, trying to change the name, right-click, go down to Access, make certain it's on Edmond, Compute, and then hit Access here. The last thing that I'll bring up is this. I'm going to close the Access thing. If you make a change, here's my orbital window. I could change my orbital window, and I could click Apply. So I changed my orbit a little bit, and I've left this access report open, but my access report didn't update. It's still showing the old number. Now you could go through and click all the other stuff, but there's a nice little button up here that says refresh. You can click that, and then it will actually redo the report. So you don't have to go through all those steps again. And I can see with my new settings, I'm now up to about 21 points. So one final thing on this, in case you're interested, bring up all 4 of the windows, or more if you'd like, and then go to Window, and we could do tile vertically or tile horizontally, though I think vertically is usually a bit nicer. So here I can, in this window, change out my orbital stuff. I can see what it does in these windows, and then down here, in fact, let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to bump this up a little bit more. I've got that. And now I can see what it's done over here. And finally, I'm going to come down here and click the refresh button. And I have to scroll down just a little bit. I'm now up to 28 points. So this is a way to try and organize some of these things. And most importantly, bring up the access report and check the bottom right in order to get the information you need to check how good your solution is. Once again, right-click on the sensor and go to Access and select the appropriate things.